interesting and amazing to know how you can prepare your meals in an appetizing and pleasing manner. There's an old saying, and a true one, that what is pleasing to the eye is bound to be pleasing to the appetite. I'm going to demonstrate this set to you, and I want you to watch it very closely. The first cutter that I'm going to show you, now this first one is known as the Parisian cutter. Wind it through the potato like a corkscrew. When the cutter appears on the opposite side, pull the cutter out. Place the handle in the center and twist it out. This is what they call a French curl. When you fry these, they come out like donuts, nice and brown. Serve them with your steaks or pot roast them. Unwind it, there's 2 curls out of the 1 potato. Tomorrow morning for breakfast, wind a little strip of bacon around the potato and serve them with bacon and eggs. They're delicious. Different colored vegetables, wind them together and you get the 2 colors. Here's a little trick cut. Split the curl halfway through the center. If you're making a shrimp salad and you happen to run short of shrimp, mix these in with the regular shrimp. Upon my word, you couldn't tell the difference until you start to eat 'em. Now the rest of the potato, you stuff it. We'll call this a little chicken. We'll call this here some hamburger. You might have a little meat that's been laying in the ice box for a few days. Chop the meat up fine, season it highly, stuff it into the center of the potato and bake them with the skins on. When they're done, cut them in 2. Serve them on the half shell just like that. Serve them in slices when company calls. The more company you have, the thinner you cut the slices. If your mother-in-law calls, give her a beak piece like that. Now the second tool in the set is known as the garnishing knife. Everything you cut with this must come out fancy. Watch this, please. You cut down, you turn the potato, and then you cut through the edge. First one way and then the other. Sweet potatoes cut like this, drop them into a little batter of pancake flour and fry them. When they're golden brown, sprinkle molasses on them. Serve them with strips of bacon for breakfast. Why, they're delicious. Here's beets, you pickle them, and carrots, you steam or cream them. In making the original French fried potato, cut them in thick slices. Put them one on top of each other. Cross-cut the slices, and you'll never eat a French fry any other way. The potatoes cut like this will not absorb the fat because they're garnished around. Pineapples cut for your pineapple and cheese salad, cut them the same way. Here is one, and this is a dandy. Cuts any thickness or any size. Open it for a thick slice, close to the top for a thin slice. Saratoga chips, you can make them for 3 or 4 pennies a pound. Just pull the blade towards you like this. If you want the slices thicker than this, open the blade, there's a thick slice. Shoestrings for your Friday fish dinner, cut them down like this. Chop them up for your vegetable soup. What this knife is really intended for is for cutting the cabbage. You know the old-fashioned board, how you rip and tear, sometimes nipping the ends off your fingers. Lay it flat and pull it lightly towards you over the cabbage. The weight of the knife across the cabbage is all that's necessary. Why, ladies, when you get slaw cut as fine as this, you'll certainly appreciate eating it. The crowning feature of the set is the cutter that I'm going to show you now. This is known as the Champeen vegetable mincing knife and noodle cutter. Now, when you want to make some real fine noodles at home, you roll the dough out like this. Dip this into a little flour so it doesn't stick to the dough, and as you roll it over the dough, that will cut the noodles in long strips, 10 at a time. Did you ever try to chop up a little nuts for cake? Why, I've seen ladies chop nuts and the nuts land up on the ceiling. Sometimes you chop the ends off your fingers. When you want to chop up a little nuts for cake, cooked meat, clams for chowder, soup greens to throw into your soup, making a little pepper or chicken hash is just a few strokes rolling it up and down. Why, here is without a doubt the meanest thing in the world to cut parsley. Put that in a grinder, you really grind it too fine. This machine, instead of crushing the parsley, cuts it quick, clean, and dry, leaving every bit of the juice and every bit of the flavor. Now, to clean this machine, you press the button. Rinse it out in a little water. When you're through using it, hang it up and let it dry. Here's one here that every lady should have in her home, known as the Parisian scoop. You lay it flat, once to the right, once to the left. When you scoop them out, you'll get a perfect round little ball. You can pot roast these, cut them out of cheese or cut them out of butter. When you're serving a fruit cocktail in the summertime, take your fresh cantaloupe, scoop them out like this, mix them with apples, pears, and watermelons, makes a delicious fruit cocktail served with a little cracked ice like you see here. But here is a tool, ladies, if you ever do get it, you'll thank the day you've seen this demonstration. When you press, it locks. It's like a pair of human hands. Reach in the oven and take the biscuits out of the oven. Ever take the hot potatoes out of the oven and burn yourself on the elbow? A roast chicken out of the oven, a piece of meat out of the pot, spinach, asparagus out of the water. Why, around canning season, when you're preserving the fruits, to take the hot fruit jars out of the water like that, that machine is worth dollars to you. And here's another one that I really know you'll enjoy having in your kitchen, known as the safety grater. No doubt you're familiar with the old-fashioned grater. I've seen ladies take a grater and rip the knuckles off. When you want to grate up potatoes for delicious potato pancakes, this has a smooth, flat edge, impossible to cut yourself. Just like you were washing clothes, you rub it up and down, and you really grate your vegetables real fine, retaining all the flavors and all the juices. Breadcrumbs for when you're serving veal cutlets or anything like that. You want a little breadcrumbs to fry your fish in? Why, there's the greatest proposition in the world. Use that for coconut, cheese, or horseradish. When you're through with it, just hit it down like that. That knocks all the food out. Rinse it out in a little water and hang it up and let it dry. Now, here is a stone made of carborundum and sapphire quartz, which is made purposely to keep these knives sharp. When they get dull, a few strokes over the edge like this, and you can put a keen cutting edge on it. If you have a dull knife or a dull pair of scissors, an old sickle or a scythe, a lawnmower, cleaver, an axe, there's a tool that will really put an edge on the knife so the knife will really cut for you. I just want to give you an idea of how sharp that knife really is when you sharpen it with that stone. Ladies, I've seen some of you try to open up cans. Now, there's a can of Campbell's baked beans. I've seen ladies open up a can and you poke a hole in it, go around the top, hippity-hop, and your finger slips. Let me show you a real proposition. Look, lay it on the can, lift up the safety, and turn the key. That locks itself on the can. No harder than you were winding up your watch. Wind up the key and that'll cut the top off of the can slick and smooth. Notice how the end raises itself up in the air so you can lift the lid off, giving you a clean, smooth edge. Now that can be used for sardine cans, square cans, or round cans, exactly the same way. Now this tool here, my dear friends, needs no introduction. This will save you on an average of $20 to $30 every year you use it as a peeling knife. Here's a grater for cheese, coconut, or horseradish, a fish scaler for scaling your fish, and when you're coring your apple, it's just a slight twist of the wrist, and there's the apple core. There's one more tool that I want you to see, and I want you to watch this one very closely. Many a times when you're baking a pie, you have a pudding in the oven. I've seen ladies wrap a towel around your hand, and many a times you burn your fingers. Hook this onto the pot like this and lift the hot pots off the top of the stove. You've got a pie pan in the oven, catch a hold of the pie pan like this. Why, you couldn't get it off with a team of horses. This will positively lift 100 pounds. There's a pail of water weighs 50 or 60 pounds. That's the way you pick it up. But there's one more tool, I'll be all through and I'll be finished. Oh, now the next tool and the last one is what they call the Sarah Bernhardt cutter. This was invented by the head chef of the Imperial Hotel in the city of Berlin, Germany. You place the screw into the center of the vegetable. Twist the vegetable until the threads catch a hold, then you wind this up. You keep winding until you utilize the whole potato. The faster you turn, the quicker the slices. Why, ladies, here's a machine for slicing onions. The first onion that you slice with this cutter, you'll bless the day you've got a hold of it. Every slice cut exactly the same thickness.
Hello, Mixer. I got some work to do. So, thank you for all those early auto hosts. Going to be portioning out two halves here, actually. I was only anticipating one half. I have two halves. So, starting with the easy stuff here, you can pull out the fat in the center. Careful not to hit the kidney, which is the only offal I think I have in here. This mostly just rips out too, by the way. Oops. This fat right here that I'm pulling out of the center of this is the fat that the bakers want. That's the fat for using for your lard and stuff like that. And so I'm going to keep it separate for a separate batch, but I'm going to be doing lard from all the fat on this. We'll just leave that all for later to figure out. Trying to get everything broke down into the large pieces here really quick, because I mean we do have a time here. We gotta get everything cold. So I'm just gonna start by doing this one side here. Start by peeling our belly away from the ham. And come in with our saw somewhere right around there. Rip the stream deck. Oh, come on. Am I missing the edge of this? Am I hitting the edge of the bone when I don't want it to be? Whatever. There we go. Hey Apache, how you doing this evening? I am doing fabulous. Actually, let's see if this works. Oh, come on, there you go. Yeah, the 4cam look. So I literally just picked these up. This pig was harvested yesterday. And I'm just about done cutting off my first ham here. Trying to be careful on my countertop here. Not really a butcher top here. It's going to get harder as we go along here. I'm going to have to pull out my other cutting board soon. But, so we've got our first full ham. I'm going to set this guy back here just to give myself some counter space. And looking at my notes here, I've got over a page of notes that's resting against the window here. You can't see it that easily though, on purpose. Third and fourth rib. So 1, 2, 3, between the third and fourth. I just gotta break it down into its individual pieces here. Right now I'm separating the loin section from the shoulder. Breaking through that top piece of rib. I think we got that there. I was originally only supposed to, I've ordered a whole pig, but I was only expecting half of it today. So, odd surprise, pleasant surprise. I'll have a lot more to say once we get this down into smaller pieces here. Next, I'm sort of half deciding if I want to do both sides the same way. So I was sort of trying to do things, change things up, so that I had a bunch of different stuff to do. And I hadn't planned out the second half. Yes, this is locally raised, less than a 20-minute drive from me. Maybe picked it up maybe a 12-minute drive in the other direction. And it's traveled 1,000 miles to be slaughtered. But otherwise it's lived on grass like right here. So I've got, that was the wrong pan, I think. That's fine. We can lose bones over there. I've got two pans set up here. I got one in the back here, and I've got one in the chair over there. You can maybe see in the other view. And so we got places for bones. We got places for fat. We got our membrane here that I don't have a good meat hook to pull on this with. leave it for now. Running out of room quickly. Okay, and so now we have our center section, main section. Right now I'm sort of tentatively thinking of doing both the same way. So here we have our slab of bacon. It's resting along these ribs going across this way. You have the tenderloin right here. You have the loin going right here all the way down. Then you have all the other goodness. So I'm going to flip this over now. And you want to start. Oh, there's wrong side. Okay, I want to start right about there. Just above the tenderloin here. Yeah, just above the tenderloin. That isn't the tenderloin, but. And over here, we're going to go somewhere right around. This is like the most, this is the cut that's like, are you sure? Thank you for the host. So, yeah. Right about, oh, we can actually come in down like that. Because you have to do this like blind to know where you are. I'm running against the rib bones there. This should be pretty much detached. Well, I'm going to take considerably longer to break it all down. A proper butcher who's experienced in this would have it all down into individual pieces in about 30 minutes. I figure I'm going to be lucky if I'm anywhere close to that. So I'm just running along the rib bones, separating this whole flank. This is all belly. Oh. I'm new to this too. I mean, I've butchered my fair share of things, and I've cut up my fair share of pork, but this is first time dealing with pig like this. I've broken down lambs. There's no structure over here, so it makes it sort of hard to work on it down here. Need more room. Already using my entire counter. carefully. Blade was awfully close to the fingers there. Come on. So there we go. You got a slab of bacon. Normally they'll square that up nice and neat. Just run it through a machine real easy. So now I've got 2 bellies to cure tomorrow. I was planning on only one of these bad boys, but 2 of them. Thinking I'm going to save. Well, there's still a fair amount of good fat down there, but might do some thicker pieces of just like actual pork belly for dinners and cure the rest. But I've got bacon for the rest of the year now. Give my hands a rinse off here. They're looking a little gruesome. Okay, and now take this down at the, I don't know if I should count this rib or not. How many we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Two of those, 3 to 4. Oh, okay. Okay. So we got 1, 2, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. Right at the end of that tenderloin there. We do have cut between the ribs in the wrong place here. Oops. Yeah, I can't handle it. Oh, it just cut out entirely. Give me 1 sec on that. Oh, thank you. It's a rather janky setup for that 4th camera. We're working with my old Nexus 6, and it's got a cracked screen, and its USB charge doesn't work anymore, so I can only induction charge it. And so I've got an induction charger rubber banded to it right now. There we go. That should be working again once I pull that up. If it gets to be too much of a problem, I may have to ditch it, but come on, slobs, you can do it. You can do it. Not sure if I'm still streaming, but hopefully. You can do it, slobs. You can do it. I had it. Okay. It just wanted attention. In fact, I'm going to take you out here, slide you underneath. That way I don't have to worry about my counter anymore. So there you go, we have our loin. We have the beginning of our tenderloin going through here. And we have this, which I'm going to turn into some lovely French chops. This, typically in pork, is just cut and thrown in stew meat. In a cow, this would be your skirt steak. Right here, going along this section here. So the plan here is going to do a couple of large French chops here. Am I going to get a good first chop here? No. So we're going to get rid of that bone, I think. Yeah, let's get rid of that bone. So now we got a nice bone to start there with. Give ourselves a nice big old French chop here. Well, all the bones I am saving and using for stock tomorrow. So, going to be doing, not going to say an exact time, but somewhere around noon Pacific, and going throughout the day. Going to be rendering fat, going to be curing bacon, and who knows whether I'll actually get everything done tonight or not. So there you go. That's a equivalent of a pork tomahawk right there. And take some fat off you like. I'm planning 2 of these and probably 4 of these now for future dinners. The reason this is different from your normal chops is because when you get it commercially done, instead of nicely slicing through the back like I did to get that bacon off, they just run it through a bandsaw. And so these bones are all chopped right around here. And I'm also obviously leaving a ton of fat here on the outside of this. This is a ridiculous amount of fat, actually. It's still a ridiculous amount of fat, but we'll live with it. So that's my first piece that I've actually finished here. Unless you want to count the ham, which I'm not really. See if I can do this without, no, not gonna risk it. Yeah. So there's our second guy of those. This one's a little bit thinner, but I don't think anyone's complaining. Well, this is a pasture-raised animal, and I'm buying it from a small local farm, so paying more. It was somewhere in the ballpark of 4 to 4.5 a pound, which is expensive if you compare it to conventional. But if you think about things like, I mean, how much do you pay for bacon? And $4.50 a pound for bacon. This is entirely a financial thing for me. This isn't, I thought it would be cool for this stream, but I'm doing this because it makes sense financially for me to have bought this freezer that I have here that I just bought and buy whole pieces of quarters or halves and break them down myself. Now for these, I'm going to break this down into 2 roasts now. But you can find conventional pork here in the U.S. that look really cheap, mass-produced, absolute junk pork for, you know, $1.50, $2 a pound on the cheaper cuts. So I can see people thinking this is expensive still, too. Oh, come on. Saw already, please. So there we got 2 nice rib roasts. And do standing rib roasts if we want. And clean up these bones, make them real nice. I'm going to leave all the fat and stuff on these guys. That way I can figure out what I want to do with them. I figure I'm going to have plenty here to render. But actually I will take a little bit off the top fat here though. But I'm rendering down all the fat, so that's going to be cooking oil for me, so I don't need to buy oil for the most part. Yeah, all sorts of benefits to this. If you got a dog, I'm sure you can find uses for the bones other than just stock, too. This guy's biting more than I thought he would. Okay, that's being too much of a pain to do it that way. I'm going to do it the other way. We'll do that a little bit later on, though. Set that aside. We'll pull the meat off of this one. Because I mean, if I'm sort of sacrificing being able to cook ribs with this pig the way I'm cutting it. That's the other major difference between the way I'm cutting it, the way it's commercially typically cut. Come on, go through. There we go. Yeah, ribs are really great if you go and I should have cut that bone out too. Oh well. Do I want to take the spine off and just do... What did I have in my notes? 2 large chops, tenderloin roast, pork loin roast, stock bones, I'm just not a huge rib fan, to be honest. I mean, they're great for flavor. The food, they're good stuff, but these are going to go down in there too. I'm going to leave it with. So we're doing 2 large chops with tenderloin. So I'm trying my best here to cut into that spine and break that spine apart without going down into this nice tenderloin meat. And we're doing 2 of these. Thank you for the follow, Simfoplat. Sorry I missed that earlier. Thank you for the sparks as well. How's that for a normal chop? A little tenderloin attached on there. bone on. Doing 2 of those, then we're cutting the rest of the tenderloin out. Or rather, mostly just pulling it. It's mostly held on by fat. This is a rather impressive beast here so far. I may have lucked out and gotten hooked up here a little bit. I've been a loyal customer of theirs for quite a while. But at the same time, I'm paying by the pound, so... Yep, we're going to leave that separate then. Been 45 minutes. I'm done yet? We'll save that and turn that into 1 or 2 pork tenderloin dinners there. It's got a fair amount of chain and stuff I got to clean up there, but probably recognize it more like that. I'm sorry, I think I'm just going to ditch it. So here I still got a couple of chops that I can do out of this section here. Not my blood. So we got a couple more chops here, and then we've got what they refer to as the sirloin. Or the sirloin roast on a pig. I was going to do a roast with pretty much the rest of this sirloin. But that means I have to bone out all of this nonsense here. Yep, I'm worried about that. This grade A prime time for that to happen. Yeah. Cutting into my loin there. Well, pig's loin, but the one I plan on eating. Finally getting there. There we go. Good for stock. So yeah, so we got the last of our loin there. This is sort of the narrow end of it here. We can roll that up and cut a little of the fat away. That'll be a nice roast. And this is another typical slow cooked meat cut of fat. This is going to be great for making some tacos or something. I cut away a bit of this fat here. Running out of room to creatively display stuff here, so I'm sort of giving up at the moment. I'm just doing a little bit more cleanup on the bacon here. There's a bit of cartilage that's still part of the rib section. Yeah, how you doing tonight? Don't know how to pronounce your name. Bijou? Bacon. So I'm going to break this down into, well, let's see, we're going to do 3 off of this, so still got cartilage going on here. Oh well. I am going to cure the bacon, and then it's going to get some of it's going to get frozen, some of it's going to get used. All of this is going to me, so this is probably pork for the next year for me here. So it's all going into the giant chest freezer right here. Come on. I also have no grinder, and so I'm not planning on grinding any of this into sausage, or that it's all going to be either cut into cuts or it's going to be stew meat. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Always appreciate the embers. Let's say right about there. There's a sharper one. There's a sharper one. And this will break down into two smaller pieces here. Use this for pork belly dinners and maybe lardons. front. No idea if he took that gland out for me or not, and I have no idea where it is if it is. I do know that there's a gland in the fat in the front up here that you're really just sort of supposed to avoid. So we're going to hope that covered it. Might be deeper down here, but okay. Actually, I'm just going to take this whole section off here and just square this up. Oh, there it is. Don't want that in your food. Okay. Hawks. I know you can't see this very well right now. Sorry about that. I'm cutting it off of the edge of the table, that's why. Sawn through two bones here, so. Ah, stay still. A little out. So we got our first of two nice hocks here. Those would be great for some beans. Then you have your pork butt or your pork shoulder, the whole thing. This is your neck bone, as it's referred to. It's really just the start of your rib cage, but this is our next big project here. I get to try and bone this out. Cut for me, please. Good. It's an unofficial theme of my stream. You're supposed to be hungry. It's just bigger. They're actually very... pretty much the same, other than I believe pigs have a second bone in their lower leg that you won't find on a cow, or at least not commonly found on a cow. Oh, with cutting? No major difference, no. Like beef stew? Yeah. I like me a good beef stew. I made one of those not too long ago, actually. It's not like it's that uncommon of a knowledge. It's just not very well publicized. There's actually laws against it when it comes to commercial. You know, America, freedom of speech, but don't take a camera into a meat processing plant. Thank you both of you guys. There, you can finally see what I'm doing. Well, it's all going to be done on stream here. I was thinking I was going to throw a piece on the stove while I'm doing this, but there's just so much to do here tonight. I don't know I'm going to even bother. I got to get this chilling. What are you still attached to? Fine, I'll just cut the whole thing out. There we go. So this could be one big roast, but I pretty much solely cook for myself. I live here alone. I've got a few friends in the area, but not many. Most of my friends are decent distance away from me. And we still got one more bone over here to deal with. Oh, technically more than one bone, but it's more like one bone. Oops, that hit the floor. So this obviously being the top of our leg bone. Hmm. I think I'm gonna go right down the center on this guy. So this is, you probably typically see this in two parts in the supermarket anyways, but this is your two pieces of the shoulder or the butt. You got your H-bone pretty much right dab center in this mess. No. That wouldn't be legal to sell that way. This has already been legally butchered. and processed. So I got it as 2 halves, like it was here on the counter when I started the stream. I don't feel like cutting this out fancy. Yep, this is my bone saw. It's got a stainless steel blade. I use it only for food. I don't know if you're paying attention. I'm using my dull blade for the vast majority of this, which should make you feel even greater about the whole cutting yourself. This guy is my sharp knife. So we got our bone there in the center, and I'll bone that out whenever I want to use these. But these are going to be 2 nice large roasts for slow cooking and all sorts of lovely things. Okay, so that's our, well, it's the ham we got to deal with too. Okay. So, pile o' meat. Thank you for the auto host. I think I'm gonna finish up this first half, and try and package some of this up before I start in on that second half. So yeah, just watch me run out of bags here, because I'm sure I will. Oh. Don't have a vacuum sealer, so I'm going to use the it fits, you see? Oh. Going to use water method for sealing my bags with as little air as possible. Yeah, I'm gonna have to throw a couple of these big guys just in there as they are overnight until I can get some nice large bags. I don't. That's what I'm getting at. I'm gonna use water to seal it. Which, not as effective, but it's nearly as good. I won't have any frost issues. You use the water to force the air out. So you push the meat below the water. It forces all the air out of the top of the bag. and then you seal the bag with, you know, maybe a little bit of air in the top corner of it, sort of a thing. It's not going to be, a lot of the times the meat companies will use nitrogen or pump them with other gases in order to do things and remove the air entirely. Just plain water. We're just using water to displace the air. I'll show you what I'm doing when I get to it here in a minute. Gotta finish filling this thing up. This is 20-liter stock pot or Cambro. Just plain old regular water. Put our hawk in her bag. Now seal the bag up about 90% of the way. Leave enough here for finger in the air to let out. Just drop it all down. See, now there's a little bit of air there, but that bag is pretty much well suctioned. So like I said, it's not as good as a vacuum packer, but it's a good alternative if you don't got one. Yeah, there's no question I'm running out of bags tonight. Thank you for the host, Kai Fox. K-Flox. Another name I see all the time and have no idea how to pronounce. Yeah, they're called garbage bags. I used two of them to haul these as it was. I had I have an F-150, an extended cab. I took out the back end of it. I've already got a rubber mat on the entire back of it. I put a full-size sheet pan and two garbage bags on either side. And they just laid them all over the top of the whole thing. A lot of people use tarps and just do them in the back of the truck, but I was like, that's a bit much for me. Like, I don't even know if these big slabs are bacon. I don't think they're even going to fit in those bags, even if I double them up. I have worked as a professional chef the majority of my life. I am not currently doing so. I've been running my own food business for the last 5 years or so, and fees, expenses, other stuff just made it where it wasn't really worth my time. I don't really see a good option for starting a new business in the area. And so I'm sort of retired and hanging out here on Mixer and having some fun. Not against the idea of maybe having a business once again sometime, but it just doesn't make sense right now. Especially right now, but even 6 months ago. Self-retired. I have no interest. I've worked in kitchens all over the place. I have zero interest in walking into another kitchen and having to prove myself to a bunch of people I don't know. Along with the games that typically go along with that. I've had some pretty good offers. I wouldn't have a big deal if I wanted to work for someone. There's some very well-known chefs in Sonoma County that I've gotten offers from that you may know from TV, but I don't want to say their name. And not Guy Fieri. It's more of a matter of living on the cheap than being ballin' or something retired. Northern California, United States. So I guess that does fit. So I really should just pull these out. Gotta remember to label everything. Just about, yeah. Some of these I don't even want to put in bags, though. I don't know. Like, these guys. What do you guys think? Blue or purple Sharpie? I got two of them right here. I don't got a green one out. I don't have much on my upcoming lists here, but the plan is here for next week that everything is themed about Negronis. I normally don't have much of a theme, but if you know why I'm choosing Negronis, you know why I'm choosing this week. I was thinking about it. I don't think I'm going to have the energy to do it. I still have a whole nother half here to butcher. I still have that steak sandwich left over from yesterday, too. Got a sub roll still left over from yesterday, and the beef and the onions, and all that good stuff. Okay, you are just ridiculous. It's just, look at that. Look at that. That's like, ridiculousness. Doubling up those bad boys. Well, no, I'm just gonna throw. I'm just gonna throw everything in my brand new cooler there, and turn it on. It hasn't been turned on. Well, it's been turned on. I know it's not too loud because I turned it on, but I've left it off rather than waste electricity with an empty freezer. Hey, Summery. I'm doing a special day stream here today. I'm not normally here on Saturdays. I'm butchering a whole pig. I was planning on butchering a half pig, but I'm butchering a whole one. So we're about halfway done here. I'm packaging up my first half, minus the ham. Bag simulator. Bag stream. Everyone jokes about the chair stream. This is a bagging stream. I haven't gotten to the big things yet. These guys I don't think are gonna fit because they're too big. This guy will fit. Yeah, I'm just getting started here, Earl. I'm just about halfway here. I don't know if amazing is the right term. We're an hour and a half deep here, and I'm still working on my first half. Okay, these guys are not getting bagged. This guy's getting bagged. That guy's gonna go in a smaller bag, though. Oh, I've got another... Oh, awesome. I might be okay. I got another 75 one-gallon bags. I didn't realize that. This, if you're not recognizing, is about half of the tenderloin there. I cut some of it into other pieces there on purpose. Yeah, the tenderloin gets a little baggy. It's not sealing as well, though. Let's see. Is that going to squeeze into a bag? Yeah, I think that will squeeze into a bag. I didn't cost in the cost of bags to this operation. Probably something I should have done. Why are they always so hard to open the first time? Especially when your hands are covered in guts. There we go. So, got these nice big tomahawks here. Yum yum. It fits. That looks yummy. I'd buy that at a store. Where'd all this water come from? Refilled my hummingbird feeders yesterday, so they're in high demand today. I agree, I just can't get another. As it is, I'm having trouble with the fourth camera. That was actually one of the first things I thought of, but I actually tried to do that long before I actually normally started streaming, because I had a little, oh, I forget the name of them. Before I had moved this PC over here, I had a small little, they sell them for doctor's offices a lot of the time. They're like a PC, but they're built out of laptop parts. It's not a Raspberry Pi. I have Raspberry Pis too, but so that's yummy. I'll eat that too. Here's the real question: is that guy gonna fit in there? Ooh, soda down. Fourth. I lost my place there. Sorry, I spilled my drink and I don't know what I was saying before. Oh, yes. I had 4 going earlier. I have another camera right over here, but it's an old cell phone camera and it keeps freezing on me. It froze on me twice. Otherwise, I'm sort of limited on this computer. If I'm going to upgrade it on this computer, I sort of need a new motherboard and CPU. The rest of it's fine. But I need more expansion slots and more USB hubs. Okay. So I don't know if that's definitely not gonna fit in a gallon bag. I don't know that I have a bag that's gonna fit that tonight. So I think that's going in as is. I think this is going in as is. That filled up that pan. Okay. Labeling time. Oops. There's a leg in the way. There we go. That looks like a good place for you. I'm laughing at the Elsa comment. Carry bag, shopping bag. I'm just gonna have to get some large, really large, like normal bags. They got them for handling meat and stuff like that. So there's our 2 French chops. Uncleaned. Meat. This is the sirloin roast. Just to give you an idea of the depth of this cooler. There's a picture of it on my Instagram and Discord if you're curious in seeing where I'm putting all of this. I'll probably hook up the other camera by the end here, but I'm not going to keep fussing with it. Yeah, you could probably fit both of these halves in their hole. What was this now? That's my loin roast. Yeah, I could fit in there actually. I think I'll be able to figure out what the tenderloin is. Belly. Yes, I think that, yeah, it's belly. It's the other problem with doing this in water is the outside of the bags are now wet and it kills the Sharpies right off. No worries. Thanks for stopping by. If you have to crash, you have to go and do something else, I perfectly understand. I have to expect you guys to be AFK half of the time. I don't pay attention to streams all the time. I have them on all the time. My hands are getting wrinkled. Ooh. Getting late there. Why you want to be a problem? Debating if I even want to break that ham down. That's probably going to be a project for tomorrow now. Yum. Side 2. Side B. Bacon I'm just going to put all in there. I'm not going to mark it. I'm taking it all back out tomorrow. Okay, gonna start the same way with this guy. Gonna take our skirt slash fat center out. Try not to cut our kidney here, which I have no clue what I did with the other kidney. Wonder if that's in with the fat here somewhere now. This is the good fat, as I was saying before, and it is here. It's right here. This is the fat that the bakers want. This is minus the meat here. But this fat all here and through here is all the good pure lard. It's amazing how paper-like that stuff is. Got a gland in the fat there. So that goes in with the tossed meat. Yay, we got fat on the floor now. It's not a true kitchen until the floor is dirty. I'm wearing non-slip shoes, and I'm used to being on slippery floors, but thank you. Actually, are these non-slip? Yeah, they're docks. They better be non-slip. So that's the nice fat that I'm keeping over here along with the kidneys. Bin up there in front of you that you can't see anymore, you could see on the other camera before. That's all my meat and bones. This guy back here is all my excess fat. Okay, starting with the belly again. I'm going to cut the belly away from the ham. Don't fall off. Don't fall off. Okay. You got that bone going right here. We want to be going pretty much through here. This is one of those guesswork cuts here that someone who's much more experienced knowing this is going to know exactly where and what angle. That's where I'm sort of missing things a little bit, or I'm likely going to mess this up a little bit more. How you doing, Glass? Welcome. Just starting my second of two halves here, Glass. Quit sliding. By the way, it was a lot of fun carrying these in here. Well, I started at 430 glass, and I'm half done. So there's my second ham. I got that one pretty good. I caught a little bit of the bone there. That would make that ham probably not that great for curing if you're going to cure it. I don't really like ham. I don't know. I'm probably going to turn these into steaks. I don't know. I've just never, especially fresh ham is one thing. That's an entirely different animal. But all these processed hams all have this flavor to them that I just can't do it. And back over onto this side, we got 1, 2, 3 between the third and fourth. Well, I'm saying process, but I'm really meaning even really most cured hams I can't stand. The only times I've really been okay with ham is when it's something that's like been done by a local farmer here and is not. I don't know. Maybe it's something different the way they cure them commercially. So I've cut through and I'm separating the shoulder and the front leg again. Down here, I know I don't got the top down camera for you guys. What amazes me is the people that actually figured this out. I mean, that you can cut between the third and fourth rib and you're not going to hit bones in between it and things like that. Well, separate to, I'm not saying that I eat healthy, because I mean, you look at my weight, you know I'm not, but the one thing that I have focused on the last probably 5 years, more than anything else when it comes to my food, is reducing the number of hands touching my food. The less hands touch your food, the safer it is for you. This is more of a financial decision on my part. I have been buying meat from the same farm as sort of like a CSA program. And they, unfortunately, due to costs and changes, had to go to halves and quarters. Well, they don't do beef, but they do halves. And I chose to have it whole so that I could break it down the way that I wanted it to. But they do break it down for the customers. But you got to buy a half and have it broken down. Okay, so that's that. Back to working on the center again. back to that fun cut that I gotta figure out. Flipping it back over. That can go in the stock scrap. Didn't look where that tenderloin was. Absolutely, yeah. So we got the tenderloin going up here. So we're looking to cut just below that tenderloin. So right about here. I turn it over and I can't see it anymore. Still don't know where I'm cutting on this side. That knife looking a little sharper to you today, Glass? I've been using my duller knife for most of this. This is my sharper boning knife. Switch back. Dull one. I'm doing a little of both on that glass. I'm leaving a lot of fat on, but I am planning on rendering out. I mean, I've already got this going. Oops. We already got that going from the first half, along with all of this, which minus the 2 kidneys over here. This is all that really nice cull fat that you use for. Oh, if it cuts through pork, it'll cut through me. I probably wouldn't suggest stones to someone today. I'm actually hoping to, that's on my list of things that I'd like to replace one day here. They now have some pretty nice knife tools out there between the table mounted ones, which use the exact same angle against the blade. They're sort of a weird little, look like sort of like a hangman set. It mounts to the side of your counter here. I don't know if you can't see, but it mounts to the edge of the counter. Has a pull that goes up, and then another piece that comes out. So it keeps that exact angle against your blade wherever you are. Those are good for the cheap price. And there's one that's it's on my Amazon wish list actually down below. It's essentially a grinder, but it's designed for knives with the proper angles. You can just set it in and go. Grinding will kill your knives faster, but you're not going to grind away a knife that fast that it's not going to be worth it to you. Yeah, it's all about the angle, and that's why this knife and my primary chef knife have all those scrapes against the edge. That's because didn't know what I was doing when I was learning to do knives. Doesn't want to cut, I'll just force it off. I'll come back to that. But that's second belly here. I agree completely with that, Glass. You can't talk to a YouTube video. Try not to take out too much of that tenderloin. I already started cutting into there. Hello, how was your party? I think I might keep the tenderloin whole on this one. Instead of doing... I didn't really like the way the chops looked with the tenderloin on it, so I think I'm just going to do it entirely separate this time. This is all chain, which the butcher would sell you as tenderloin, but I don't want with my tenderloin. So did you go to your party, or? It goes up there. A lot of this stuff you can just sort of tear out of there, but I'm sort of timid to do that. I'd rather cut it out wrong. I don't know. So that's your tenderloin with the edge. That's probably a little bit closer to used to seeing in the store. Nice. Yeah, food doesn't have to be complicated. Most of my food's rather simple, actually. I just do it all at home. Do I want all of this fat? I am doing great, Trigger. How are you doing this evening? I'm tired too. This is my second half that I'm on here. Okay. Do I want to do the same as I did last time for this as well? This I think I'm going to bust down into chops. Should pop. Thank you for the embers. Ah! Thank you. And for all you new to my stream, this is all probably going to be later cooked on this stream sometime in the next year. Cutting board. Anyone also new here from earlier, this pig was pasture raised. It was locally raised to me, less than 20 minutes away. Unfortunately, had to travel about 1,000 miles to be slaughtered, but it's made its way back here. Blessing, what are you going to do with all the fat you're putting in the pot? No, I didn't see that in glass. I'm going to be reducing that. I'm going to rendering all of that. I'm going to render both of these. This is going to get rendered, and this is going to render. In other words, I'm just going to cook it really slowly and melt it all down into liquid. I will use it for cooking oil, for frying and stuff. This I'm going to save and keep separate and use this for more pure applications when I'm don't want any extra added flavor. Nothing going to waste here as much as possible. I mean, you can even make chicharrones out of the skin. I don't know if that's in my plans, but maybe one day. I don't have a deep fat fryer. I do some frying on stream, but that's some good sausage meat there. Again, I'm not doing any sausage, but this would be great sausage meat. I'm gonna pick through that pan over there and do a combination of stock bones and stock bones and meat for stew meat. I'm actually sort of surprised I haven't had much stew meat here tonight. Then again, I left the bigger cuts still bigger cuts. Got myself. Be back one moment. It's a small little nick. Yeah, I know, Obe. Not supposed to do that. This is my first time doing a whole pig by itself. I mean, I've broken all the major parts down on a pig. I've broken down lambs before. It's not all new to me, but somewhat new to me. I mean, I did a little bit of prep and study work. I don't have gloves here at home, otherwise I'd be wearing a glove too, as well. In fact, if you've got, I'm underprepared if you're doing butchery. This is, you should have a little bit more safety gear if you're doing butchery, especially on a regular basis. They still sell chainmail. They still sell, they have, in fact, I think I still have one. I have no clue where it is, but I used to have a cutting knife glove. I don't think I've seen that in years. I don't know where that went. But those are all things that you can easily grab to make your life a little safer. Thank you for the hosts, guys. And thank you for the follow there, Audio Junkie. Working on taking this big, nasty thing out here. It's sort of cool when you can do stuff like that and get good grabs on it. It's sort of weird. So everyone been watching the music streams this weekend? I've been, other than my own streaming, I've been royally addicted to that. Nice. Yeah, I was saying earlier that I could have gotten this cut up, but I wanted to do it myself, if only for the experience, but also great for the stream. And like I said, I'm switching to buying large cuts in order to save a bit of money. This is another one of those cuts that's great for throwing soup or stock. I mean, it's got all sorts of meat and stuff in there that you're never going to get fully cleaned out easily. Welcome, Jason. Got another Jason in the room. Yeah, it has been. Starting to get a little tired now, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So we got our other sirloin roast and chops. Bit of meat here. Throw all this in the excess with the stock. want to keep the glands separate. So throw you over there with that. The tenderloin, my fat slab of belly. Let's do a couple more French chops here. No, I started with 2 halves. I was planning on only doing 1 half today, but they had the whole thing for me, so this is going to be a sort of weak chop here for the first one. Actually, I'm going to do the same thing I did last time, just cut this bone off instead. Make that first one a giant chop. Posted a photo on my Twitter of what I started with on the counter. Nice, nice. This is the first pig that I've tried breaking down by myself. I've certainly broken down other parts to pigs, and I've broken down lambs and some other animals before, but first pig. Oh, come on. Nice. As I was also saying earlier, this is sort of a financial decision for me. I'm bulking up to larger cuts here in order to lower my costs. I mean, I'm doing $4.50 a pound here for grass-fed, pasture-raised, never seen a barn, and local. So, but at that price, I mean, I've now got 2 full bellies of bacon fat at $4, $4.50 a pound. Blade is still too tight, too loose. I don't know if it's just getting loosened by what I'm doing or what. These guys, maybe I'll just do... Oh, do I want to do 2 racks? Okay, so we got all that broken down yet again. I think I'm gonna bag some of this up again, put some of this away. For a week, it's gonna be more like a year. Gonna need to make some friends here. It was pasture raised less than 20 minutes from here. The farm isn't certified organic, but they're about as close as you get otherwise. I don't know if this guy's gonna fit. I don't think he's gonna fit. No, no. I'm using it to push the air out. I'm using it to displace the air in the bags because I don't have a vacuum sealer. It should help with any frost or anything like that. It's not going to get all of the air out of it. It's not going to be as good, but it's a good alternative for at home. Sealing it all the way down to the very end here, leaving enough room for me to stick my finger in there and keep it open for the air to let out. And then just force it all down underwater. And hope that you sealed it well enough that it didn't fill with water. We got our tenderloin again. This one's not going in a mini bag. Water's starting to look a little nasty here just from the outside of the bags in my hands, I think. Are you going to fit? Maybe. Nope. Ooh. Flying chops. Should have another one here, I think. Did I do an odd number of chops? That's interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Guess I did 5 chops. Bacon. Cutting the top of the cartilage that goes along all the top of the ribs that are right here normally. That looks like a nice hunk of fat. That's not something we want. We want to get rid of those fat glands. fat gland section. Yeah, we're going to take a bit more here off the top. That is the plan. I've got a pan going back here. I got my kidneys and the caul fat in here, which is the nice pure fat that I'm gonna render down. And then separately, I've got this pan of fat that I will render down and use. This will go towards frying or something along that line. This I'm going to, same as last time, I'm going to break down into 3. Well, that right there, that looks like it's straight out of a store to me. Back's getting to me a little bit. Counter's too low for me. The bacon is all going to get cured tomorrow. At some point. I'm going to be online basically all day tomorrow. I'm going to be doing stock with all these bones. I'm going to be rendering all that fat down. And the bacon I'm going to be creating a cure for and rebagging and setting that up. And that's going to be taking up half my refrigerator for the next week. Yeah, slippery hands don't open bags. Thank you for the follow, Lotus. As I've been sort of saying, this is sort of my preview show to the next year of streams here. Unless I find myself some other fun way to get rid of all of this. Yeah. Could probably eat a pound a day and still be having a little bit here at the end of the year. I can't legally. Especially now that I've cut it all up in this kitchen. That'd be cool, but yeah. I'm sure some people still do it, but... That's sort of the point. No, I didn't kill it. I bought it as 2 halves, already legally slaughtered. I might actually have some problems with Mixer if I did slaughter it here on stream. Yeah, you absolutely do need a business license to sell, and then there's no way that you can sell the meat legally with there's a lot of licenses you need. You're going to need a business license, you're going to need a state license, you're going to need a health department license for your home, which isn't possible to have. Thank you for the follow, Brad. Welcome. I was getting into it earlier. I mean, even though here in the U.S. there's all sorts of freedom of speech, and you know, people want to take pictures of everything. How many pictures of slaughterhouses do you actually see? There's actually laws against it. Okay, what else am I doing here tonight? We got the two hands, if I want to deal with those, and I got this shoulder still to do. Love ham hocks. Such great flavor in hocks. A lot of cartilage and gelatin too, but nice big thick bone too. It's probably food for my next year here, Lotus. Yep, all the bones are going into stock. I'll be doing a stock stream most of the day tomorrow. Gonna be rendering fat tomorrow. Gonna be curing bacon. Yeah. Oh, this will be all gone tomorrow. And again, I think I'm just gonna... still don't know where that gland is. It's got to be around here somewhere. There we go. There we are. There he is. Back to having fun with the neck here. This is probably the bone that your butcher takes home to do his beans with. I'm probably just gonna throw it in the stock, but this is grade A bean flavor right here. Thank you for the host, Sobe. I'm going to do this in 2 again, or should I save this as 1? I think I'm going to do this as 2 again. And just through the bone there. If I wanted to take the time, I could carefully clean that up and just debone both of these, but I'm going to leave that for a later project. Sorry I didn't read your message there, Obi. Have a great night. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I appreciate all you UK viewers stopping by, and I know a number of you were falling asleep on me. Hope you all have a great evening. So we got our new 2 pork butts or pork shoulders here. Good. I make people hungry, that's good. Still want to leave some of the fat here, but we certainly don't need all that. We don't need inches of fat. It's some nice white looking fat though. I mean, that is some pure white looking fat. Happy and living with that. See what we got for fat on you. I think we're going to leave you just as is. All right. Let's leave the hog whole. I'm getting really tired now. In fact, I'm going to take a second here and have a sip to drink and figure out what all I want to store and where I want to store it. Keep going down to the drawer when I got bags over here. Okay, chops we can throw in the freezer. Bacon, bacon. think this water's done for now. I can't wait to cook those bad boys up. Those are going to be a party. I got 4 of these guys. I don't know if those will even... I don't think those will even fit in my cast iron. Might have to saw the end of the bone off to cook that bad boy. Let's clean off this counter a little bit with my already dirty towel. Actually, that's good meat. We'll see. Maybe it'll fit. Maybe. Why are these things impossible to open for the first time? I don't know what it is with these bags. I've literally ripped 3 of these now, trying to open these up. I haven't done any here on stream yet, but these bags are just impossible to start open. Got rid of the water. These guys are too big. Those are too big. Those are too big. Hams are too big. I think I'm done wrapping for tonight. I don't think I got anything else that I can wrap. Don't want to use that pan. I can use you. This is all getting wrapped tomorrow. That won't get wrapped tonight. $20 liters of meat. And so I could pick through this, but this is really the only waste that I have out of this animal. There's some good fat here, and there's some good meat in there, but there's also this has mostly been taken out because there's glands in the fat and other nasty stuff that I don't want going into the rest of the food. And so sort of throw this out with the rest just to be safe. But I mean, for a whole pig to only be losing that, I'm okay with that. Gonna have to hose down my whole kitchen now. Let's get rid of this nasty towel now. I don't know if I even have a pan that those are going to fit well in. Either one of these hams. I am going to probably break these hams down I'm just too tired tonight. But I do intend on breaking these hams down eventually. I'm probably going to end up doing this tomorrow. Because I need space. I need to figure out with all that good jazz. Basically, all you really have here, this one's a pretty simple one to break down, and I'll explain it here before I wrap things up. But basically, you've got your shank, you've got another bone, you got your ham bone, and then we got the connective bones and stuff that are up on this end. So it's really just cutting out that bone, and then if you want a ham, you can just rewrap the whole thing together. What I'm probably going to do is I'm going to peel off a little bit of this fat skin and take the top round off and rewrap it. So that's the plan eventually. We got 2 of those bad boys to do up here. So that should be some fun here for tomorrow as well with the stock. I now think it's probably going to be closer to 1 o'clock. I need time to get the stock going, but I'm going to have to hit up the store in the morning. So, there's that too. But, let's see here. Anyone have any questions before I wrap things up here? I'm going to take some pictures of the final results here in my freezer, and I'll post those up on Instagram. The fat I'm all rendering tomorrow. All of the fat's going to get rendered tomorrow. Is that going to fit in the fridge? Can I throw that in the fridge for the night? Yeah, I can. Nice. Now, where's my phone? Take pictures of everything. So like I said, those will all go up on Instagram here in 20-30 minutes here. need bags for those hams. Guess garbage bags just for the night. All right, so tomorrow, as I've said several times before, stock, rendering fat, gonna do some pork for dinner. We got some vino, and gonna have a good time. Had a good time tonight. Thank you all for joining me. I think I'm gonna leave it at that. Sort of a simple good night. I think most everyone's asleep. I am going to go ahead and put you on my past streams slideshow and figure out who's playing for the St. Jude charity stream. And I will give you guys a host over there as soon as I figure that out. Thanks and have a great night, and see you guys all tomorrow.